Hi friends, uh, our today's topic in the project Ansel, I am going to discuss about earthquake. Earthquake, earthquake is defined as something shaking of earth. The reason behind the shaking of earth is uh, there are many reasons behind the earthquakes. The most prominent reason is uh, the friction between Indian and Eurasian tectonic plate. The other regions for occurring earthquake are like volcanic eruption. It sometimes occurs due to landslides, due to sometimes it occurs due to subsiding. Sometimes it occurs because of the testing of atomic bombs or hydrogen bombs. But listen, the disaster, when we talk of earthquake as a disaster, we count only those earthquakes that are above 5.0 or above 10 its of magnitude on the Richter scale. Okay, so earthquake is something that is shaking off Earth due to mainly we can say because the friction between the tectonic plates. The earthquakes are most unpredictable and it has been proven most devastating of all the earthquakes, of all the uh, disasters. Okay. We cannot predict it, we cannot guess it. We know only through our seismic measurement instruments, that is the Richter scale. We know only after a earthquake occurs. So it's most unpredictable and at the same time it is most devastating. The impact of earthquake that could be there could be the collapse of buildings or structures. So taking the human lives, taking human lives and eroding the infrastructures, uh, loss of critical infrastructures, loss of property, loss of environment. Yeah, think when a earthquake occurs, there could be a changing course of river that could inundate an area, meaning as flood. Think of a condition that when a earthquake occurs and there in a region comes landslide and the whole of the area is got merged and so erasing the whole environment. And next comes the social losses and also the mental losses. Okay, these are the some of the losses of the earthquakes, and we can say in cascading effect there can be flood, there can be landslide, and all of the things. Okay, India, our country is vulnerable, and its vulnerability is increased by the factors we are, or we can say how is our living manner. Our most northern states are mostly, if I say that our Himalayan states, Himalayan region connected states are most vulnerable to these earthquakes. And the reason behind is that Indian plate and the Eurasian plate. They are here like and they are having continuous friction and due to friction creating the pressure and due to the pressure sometimes there is the release of energy in the form of seismic waves and occurring and the shaking of earth we know that as earthquake. So our Himalayan states, that is starting from Jammu Kashmir, Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, and second part of our Pashchim Bengal, and our seven northeastern state, that is Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, uh, Meghalaya, uh, Manipur, Nagaland, Mizoram, and Tripura. And also some of the eastern our western coast is also vulnerable to these earthquakes. And uh, the vulnerability of earthquake in India is got increased because of the population inhabiting in the most hazardous area of earthquake. There is about 82% of Indian population living in these risk zones. There is something as a preventive measure has been taken by our national authorities, like earthquake zone mapping. And in this mapping, we can see clearly that 59% of India's total geographical area is under the risk. And this risk is increased by the living population, that is the 82% of the population living in this area. And this risk is how is it is increased. You can know that our 10% of elderly population, the people who has been old, and 13 to 15% the childs, that is between the age of 0 to 6 years, they live in these areas. In these areas that are the high risk zone, in these areas 29 major Indian cities are facing this challenge, and our national capital even in its high risk zone, and more than the capital states of 10 states, more than the capital of 10 states are in this most hazard risk zone areas. So we know now, and there is something we can see our population has been one of the factor, and we know that any hazard or any natural event that could take a form of disaster, that is only when then there is something environment got met with that. In my first lecture, I have said that hazard is a seed and the environment, that is the population and the things giving it chance to be full grown tree, like that is we say disaster. So the population is one thing that we say we have in these most areas, and the infrastructure, the houses we live. We all know about the Dharavi project that is currently getting developed by Adani, and we say that how the disparities and what are the building measures, how the buildings are built in our country. That is also something creating the vulnerability more higher. Think of if a building is not well uh, established, then even a mere shaking of the earth can make it collapse. And due to collapse of building, there creates the death of people, and that is the biggest problem. We should take uh, preventive measure, having better building codes. Yeah, and let we talk of some mm, major disaster management. Earthquake being the most disastrous disaster, and having and giving the most powerful impact on humans, we cannot check it. Even we know it after its occurrence, we do not know about it just or even before. And so, what we can do in measure as we know that in disaster management cycle there are the four fundamental things what we do. First thing is prevention, second thing is preparedness, third thing is our response, and fourth thing is recovery. What we do, let me just talk of prevention measure. If I say about the prevention measure, then we have done, as a country, we have done the hazard zone mapping. We have identified the areas that are the most in high risk zone, most high risk zone, second high risk zone, moderate risk zone, low risk zone, very low risk zone. Okay, we have categorized our country in five zones. That is the hazard zone mapping. Second thing, we have national building codes. That is only sometime followed. Even but the companies, the greater infrastructures, when they are made, then the national building code is always considered, and the clearance of the building by the officers is only when the inspection content on these basis. Okay, we should have the awareness programs about the earthquakes to the people, what we should do, where we should be at the time of earthquake, what we can do, okay, these things. And building the resilience, okay. And we, this was the first thing, that is the prevention. Let us come to the second thing, that is the preparedness. Suppose when we know that the an earthquake had occurred, what we do? In preparedness, we know we stockpile the essential services. After it, we do give the just like food, water, shelter, and other necessary things that are needed to be responded with, and the medical care, emergency medical care, the readiness, making volunteers prepared, making people's training to disaster responders trainings, and a lot of things we can do in our preparedness. And when we do give the response about the earthquake, we give response about the earthquake by just first giving them rescue operations. Second, we can give them uh, emergency medical care after it hold. And also, we should be care about here the shelter is the most important thing in the response. And next thing comes the evaluation comes, so that we can do something more better on the next time. We can learn from that. And the last thing comes, that is our recovery course. The recovery is the something restoring the mechanism, and that is just, yeah, removing the debris, creating the structures with more and better resilient quality. I think if the government is happy to intervention with the better intention, then it can be, the buildings can be rebuilt on the basis of national building codes. Okay, and so there are something we can do. Yeah, earthquakes are really disastrous, but by taking the measures, we can do a lot. Thank you. Have a good day.